Hey everyone, so last time I made a video I showed you guys how to make this controller. This was a controller that I made with my 4-year-old son so that he has something to play with that's his own. He used to come up and ask me, "Daddy, which controller is mine?" And now he can just go ahead and grab one and he doesn't have to worry. So today I'm going to show you guys how to do another controller. Last time I wasn't really able to get into showing you guys the way that I did the paint, so this time I'm actually going to show you. Last time I had my 4-year-old actually painting with me, so I wanted to make sure that I was paying attention to what I was doing, that we were being safe, and yeah. So this time I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do this one. So what I've got is I have one of these controllers. It is one of the older style Xbox One controllers that came out when the console first came out. You can tell that it is because it's got this shiny piece right back here. If it was one of the newer style controllers, it would have just one solid piece. There would be no break here. Also, there is a headphone jack in the newer controllers, so this is one of the first style controllers that came out. So I also have a nylon spudger right here, so you guys can use a metal one. I definitely recommend using one of the nylon ones, otherwise you could be scratching up your controller on the inside. I've got a T8 security screwdriver. I have a link in my description to pick up one of these through Amazon if you guys need one. You should definitely use one of the security screwdrivers and not try to mess up the screws inside your controller. I have this Duragold 800 grit wet or dry sandpaper. You're going to have to sand the face of the controller so that the paint can actually stick to it. Paints that I'm going to be using, I have this Oasis Blue by Rust-Oleum, the 2X Painter's Touch. I used that in the last video. I have a white gloss. I have a berry pink. I have a black gloss, and I have my clear coat. The design we're going to be doing on this one is we are going to do a Galaxy Nebula design. So you guys will see that once we are actually done with the controller. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and take apart this controller. So we're going to take the spudger here. We're just going to pry it in the sides here. We're just trying to get that away. Alright, so I went ahead and got those off. The back of it is actually showing now. I'll go ahead and open it up. Take the batteries out. The screws that we have on this one are right here, right here, right here, right here, and then there's another one right behind the sticker right inside here. So to get to that one, just push through, and then you can unscrew it. Alright. Don't play with that, baby. So as with any screws, make sure that you keep them together so that you don't lose any of them, because it's going to be very important that you do get this back together properly. Get off the table. So once you get those 5 screws out, the face of it will just come off just like that. So the next step that you want to do is you just want to go ahead and wash this down with some soap and water. I just used some mild dish detergent and some water, and just get all those oils that your skin may have put on it, any dirt, grime, anything like that that may be on the controller from years of use like this one. So I'll go ahead and wash that, and I'll be back to show you guys how to sand it, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I went ahead and washed it, got all that dirt and grime off of it. So you guys can see there are some wear marks from years of use. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grab a sheet of my 800 grit sandpaper. I have this Duragold 800 grit. I have a link in the description to that if you want to buy it from Amazon. So I'm just going to grab a small piece of it. And I'll just take it and rough this thing up. So we're roughing this up so that the paint actually has something to adhere to. Otherwise, if you do not do this step, it won't have anything to actually adhere to, and it could come peeling off a lot faster than anticipated. Make sure you get these curved areas around the thumbsticks. A little bit harder to do. Make sure you get those done. Once you feel as though you've gotten everything, you can go ahead and wash it down again, as before, with a mild dish detergent, soap and water, and I'll be back. Alright, so here it is, after sanding, after washing. This is what it looks like. So now it is ready to be painted. So with mine, I'm only doing the controller face. You can also do the back of the controller. You can do this portion of it. If you're going to be painting the back portion of it, make sure you put that door back on. Otherwise, you're going to be painting these battery contacts here. Just these two Once you take it off, there you have it. So you don't want to get any paint on those contacts, otherwise you won't be able to use any standard batteries. You'll still be able to use like the play-in charge pack, but you won't be able to use anything standard on them. You also want to do the same thing to these guys. If you're going to do that, completely up to you how you want to do your design. But I like this. I think it comes out a little bit better. You're not doing anything that's going to be a little bit too overpowering looks-wise. I think it's just a perfect balance. So I will go ahead and paint this and show you guys how I do that. Alright, so I went ahead and set up my controller right over here, the controller face that we're going to be painting. I've got it set up on a piece of plywood that I use for painting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with a nice base coat of black. You want to do real light coats. Make sure you get it from all angles. That should be good for black. Went ahead and did 2 coats of black, a couple minutes of dry time in between. I think I spent maybe 4 or 5 minutes in between coats. So, yeah. Alright, next step is I'm going to be taking our Oasis Blue and our Berry Pink. I'm just going to be doing a couple light sprays from the side. Just to give it some color. And that should be enough right there. We're going to let that dry just a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and get into our stars. Alright, so now for the stars, what I'm going to do is I'm actually putting on a glove here, as you can see. Take my gloss white. I'm going to spray it down on the side over here. Get a little bit of it up with my gloves. And we're just going to flick it on. If you don't want any big stars on there, make sure you flick it a couple times first off the controller. And that's going to give you your star effect. And now we're going to let that dry for just a couple minutes, and then we'll be on to our clear coat. Alright, so I went ahead and let it dry for a couple of minutes, about 3 or 4 minutes, and now I'm going to go ahead and do my clear coat. Much like the black, I'm just going to do this in a couple very light coats. That way we avoid any overspray, any drips, anything like that. We don't want to ruin the finish on our controller because this is going to be something that we're going to be handling on, a semi-daily basis. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple very light coats of clear coat to give it that nice gloss finish. You're going to want to get it from all angles. And again, very light. We'll let that dry about 2 or 3 minutes in between coats. It says on the can that you can go ahead and do it at any time, but just to be safe, so we don't have any drips or anything like that, we want to go ahead and let it sit for a couple minutes in between coats. Alright, so it's been a couple minutes since I did my first coat of clear coat, so I'll go ahead and get into that again. All right, let that sit for a couple minutes and I'll come back and I'll do one more coat and then we'll go ahead and leave it to dry. All right, so I went ahead and let it dry for a couple more minutes and I'll go ahead and do my final coat of clear coat. All right, so from here I'm just gonna go ahead and let it dry. It says on the can to let it dry for anywhere between, so it says 20 minutes, it's good to the touch in 20 minutes, to handle in 1 hour and fully dry in 24 hours. But it also has a note on there that on plastic, the maximum adhesion and durability is achieved in 5 to 7 days. So on my first controller, I went ahead and I put it together after 24 hours. And I still got a very, very, very slight fingerprint I told you guys about. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry for a little over 24 hours before I actually handle it and touch it. And even then, I'm gonna go ahead and wear gloves just to try to avoid those fingerprints even more. So this is what we have. Very slight color on it. Got our stars. That is our galaxy Nebula. So it's a little bit hard to see with the background kind of, it's definitely blending into the background there. But that's what we have so far. And I'll show you guys when it's fully dry. All right, so I have had this drying for about, it's been just under 36 hours. So this is what we ended up coming up with. So I definitely wish I would have gotten a little bit more of the blue and a little bit more of the pink on the inside of it, but I think all in all, it definitely turned out good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this together now. So everything should just fall right back into place. Very simple. You always want to make sure that you get those connects right over there in the right location. And everything should just go right into place. So once you get everything to line up right, you can go ahead and start putting your screws in. I like to start right over here in the middle. Alright. The rest of them you can just go in whatever order you feel like doing. Don't screw too hard because it is plastic. You can break the threads on the inside. And one more. All right. There's the battery port. All that's left is getting these on. These will take a little bit of pressure. They'll just go right back into place. Same thing on both sides. Just a little bit of pressure. We'll get it back in. And if you notice, bumpers here will just be a little bit out of place. Just give them a little bit of pressure. And that'll get them in. And there we have it. Galaxy inspired controller. A little bit of pink, a little bit of blue, and our stars. Alright, so there we have it. I went ahead and showed you guys how to paint this one, how to take it apart, put it back together, how to do the colors, along with that star effect that I have on there. So, I still have one more controller to do. This one right here. As you can see, as I've talked about earlier on in this video and in the previous video, this is one of the newer Xbox One controllers. You can tell by that portion there. This one is one solid piece. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how to take this one apart, how to paint it, how to put it back together. And yes, this is the same one that came with the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S. So we'll go over that one in the next video. I'll also be showing you guys how to tape off an area after putting down a base coat of spray paint and how to not ruin the first coat that you put down. So I'm going to go over that in the next video, as well as how to paint a design using a decal, basically just a vinyl sticker, as well as probably using some painter's tape to do the same thing. So we'll go over that in the next video. So if you guys like what you saw, make sure that you like, subscribe, share this video, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.